Okay, so this video I did something correct. I wrote down the stuff I wanted to talk about. Um, so that should be good. I won't get lost as much as talking about what's changed, what's been added. However, I did. This is my second time trying to record this video because one of the talking points I had just stopped working. And I now know why that is, and I'll go over it once I get there. But I already destroyed the flow of this video having to do it again. Anyway, what we're going to talk about first off is some enemy stuff. I kind of redid the way they attack, the way we gather enemies and do all that, and we also have scaling of enemies based on the player's performance. We'll start with that. First thing, enemies before had a range. That was the index in the enemy line that they could hit the player at. This was a bit restrictive in that only enemies could only do anything at a certain point, which didn't make sense if two enemies had the same attack. So I changed it down in the enemy attacks. These are the ones with the range. So if the enemy is at index 1, then it can do this attack. If the enemy that has this attack is at index 0, then they can start doing this. So that's kind of the way it works right now. 100 is kind of just like you could do it wherever. That's kind of the whole point of that number. But yeah, anyway, so that makes it so if one enemy has two different abilities, he might be able to do one and not the other, or neither or both, and it just gives more flexibility in what enemies can do. So that's the main change there. Um, Next thing we did was enemy gathering. These are like pretty small changes, but I don't know. I thought they were needed. Anyway, finding enemies for battle. We're still not using the minimum level because I don't think it really applies just yet, and I'm not sure if I want to worry about minimum level of an enemy. But what we've done is instead of just grabbing random enemies from everywhere and just putting them into the list and creating them, what we're doing instead is we're creating like a weighting chart for the enemies. So what we want is at higher difficulty levels, we want to not have 100 level 1 enemies. We want to have higher level enemies. So what this does is pretty much create a new list based off of the default one up here, possible enemies. And for each enemy in that, we assign it a value based on its level. So right here, it's their level times 2. And then whatever that is, we add that many instances of that enemy to this list. So if we have a level 1 slime and it ends up here, it will be added twice because it's enemy level times 2. But if we have an enemy with level 3, then it will be 6. So it'll get added 6 times to the list. So when we actually get the enemies, this is the same thing as before, except what we're doing is we're looking at this list instead of this list. And then we have higher level enemies on average because it's still pretty random. I like having things random. So that's the way that works. That's the way we changed that. And then scaling. The scaling, the whole point of this was because the game will be significantly harder if you can't type, and incredibly easy if you are really good at typing. So, what this object is doing, words per minute tracker, with everything here, all these baseline stats and stuff, and in typing, there's all this. What it's doing is tracking your words per minute. It gets little instances every now and then. Yeah, I have it here. Instances of your words per minute and your accuracy at that time. And stores it, adds it to a list, and calculates the baseline percentage of your performance. The 100% scaling value is 100% accuracy at 60 words per minute. Um, I had it at 70 at first, and I felt really bad because I was getting like an 80% scaling value, so I dropped it to 60. uh, but yeah, that's pretty much what this does. And it stores all these. It will store up to 100 of these, and then it starts deleting the old ones. Yeah, words per window size. And it uses all of these to determine what level it should give you. So I did some bit of testing before, and mine's at 98.85 right now. My mouse just died as I was talking. We'll go to the trackpad. Anyway, that's that. You'll kind of see it in the top left corner of the screen, kind of move up and down. It only goes into effect on enemies at the start of each run. So it's not like mid battle someone's going to die because you just suddenly started typing super slow. It will only do it at the beginning of a run. So each run will be a bit different based on your performance of previous runs. This is still it's something I'm testing right now to see if it's going to actually be a viable way of scaling. But yeah, when we actually create an enemy, we do set enemy health, then the default value that we want at 100% scaling, and then it's at the top. Then we set it based on the difficulty percent. That's that, and then everything else is inside the game. We can skip past this boring stuff here. Anyway, main menu, still the same thing. Pretty sure it was here in the last video. Yeah, top left here you can see scaling, 94, accuracy, 97.32. Hit new game. We will go toxin swipe as all, and let's get firebolt. Why not? Hit the map. This is also the cool thing that we added. So if you ever played another roguelike like Slay the Spire, Pirates Outlaws, trying to think of more. I've been told Inscription. I haven't played Inscription or seen anything of it, but a couple of friends told me Inscription it's similar to. But pretty much we generate a little map for you to go through. This is the boss over here. This is where you're trying to get, and then this is all the encounters in between. Right now we only have combats and shops, but I plan on adding like story events later on, but that's for later. So if we click on these, we can go into a fight, start typing to battle. We'll actually get a countdown now before we start, which is kind of nice, and then we'll get going. One thing you'll notice is we have a little effect here for the the spell. Pretty much it grows as you're typing it out, as you're charging the spell, and then it shoots over and hits the enemy. Oh my goodness, I need to stop using this on these guys. Yeah, so these two slimes are resistant to fire, so it was not working. I cannot type. Oh my goodness. Well, that took a bit. Anyway, we do that, we get through, we get our money. This is all the same as before, and then we go back to the map. And now we're on the map, we can go into the next thing. Either move here or here. Shop hasn't really changed. I'm just going to go here, see if I can grab this. Lingering Flame. I can't. That's okay. Because then we leave. Instead of having the sign glowing open, it changes, meaning you visited. Like this combat we visited, so now it has the red little banner on it. And you'll do this throughout the entire thing. There are a couple glitches with the navigation of the map. Like, if I go here, hit battle, hit main menu, and continue, I could just move on to the next one. Currently, for testing, this actually makes it really easy to just get to the end. But, I don't know. If I want to show you the boss battle, it's going to always be 702. So I'll just move us over to 702. Because boss battles are something I added. 702. Hit play, let's get back in this. Never mind. It's not going to let me right now. Oh, no, it is. Never mind. Let's go. We're in a battle. Goblino Mucho. This is the going to be like one of the main bosses of the first like I like to go by quest. So you can see the little exclamation point. I keep pointing at my screen with my actual hand because I don't have my mouse. Anyway, let's go through this fight and then you can see the guy. Assuming we don't die. There's a couple problems with some of the goblins. You might notice that some of them are about to retreat, even though they have not gotten over to me. And there is the boss. That is Goblino Mucho. I think he is resistant to flames. I don't remember if I made him that or not. He is not. Oh my goodness, I cannot type. Yeah, this guy's attack scales according to how much money he's stolen from you, because that's the whole goblin shtick, is they steal gold from you. So I actually might lose this. Yeah. I know it's hard to see his like progress, but it is what it is. I'll fix it later, which is what I say about most things, but we're here. Anyway, that's that. That's the fight. We lost. Nice little defeat screen, and then we can go home. That's kind of the way it is. My scaling is a bit more accurate now. It's at 88%. Part of that is my accuracy was just horrible. Yeah, if I just run again, we can see the all the values. Wordsprint history. Yeah, so we're at 33 instances. At the end here, you can see that my Wordsprint just tanked. But it is what it is. Yeah. The every time you beat a battle, we increase your challenge rating based on that battle's variant. Like if I go to map generation here, let's make this full screen, make it easier to see. Right here, create a node. Each screen node is this. We got difficulty is equal to the column. If it's visited is false unless we're at the beginning. And that's pretty much it. The difficulty scales after each row you go by. I know it's hard to see in the map that there are like columns going down, but if we just go to the map real quick, pretty much the way this generates is this is column 1, and then we move over, column 2, move over, column 3. This map generation actually makes it a lot easier. Move over, column 4, 5, 6, and then just when we draw the nodes, we just give them a little variance in their X and Y to make them look less uniform. Simple as that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's essentially all the of note new things added. The enemy scaling, like the words per minute tracker. In my last video, I realized I broke it because I was saving different amounts of accuracies to words per minute. So when we actually calculate the final value, we were getting division by 0 sometimes because let's say there were 90 indexes on the words per minute, but 100 on accuracy. Then there would be the accuracy trying to do calculations with a value that doesn't exist. So yeah, things were breaking pretty bad, and I kept I kept not being able to fix it. So yeah, it took a bit to actually get that going. Anyway, that is about it. Not sure what I'm going to work on next. I have a big list of things I want to work on, but I'm not going to show that in the video because then there's going to be expectations on me that I don't want. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time maybe.